In the astrology of January 29th, we are nearing the end of this first month of 2024, and I figure this is a great time to switch things up a little bit because I've been doing the daily horoscope since October 18th, and I want to shift things around a little bit. And so the way I want to do this is actually by organizing the type of transit or transits that I do each day into the energy of the day itself. So today on Monday, this is of course the moon's day, I'm going to be taking the Mars trine Uranus transit and describing the feeling of this for us as a collective. On Tuesdays, I'm going to be focusing a lot more on the action that we take, because of course this is Twier's day or Tyre's day or Mars's day. On Wednesday, this is Woden's day, so this is going to be all about thought. It's going to be all about speech. It's going to be about the transits related to how we think about things. On Thursday, this is Thor's day, so this is going to be the day of spirituality. It will be a day of belief, of faith, and of big decisions, big adventures. Then, of course, on Friday, Freya's day, aka Venus's day. On this day, I'm going to be focusing on the value of things, relationships, and I'm going to be talking about those much more. And then, of course, for the weekend horoscope, I'm going to be talking about Saturn's day, Saturday, and Sunday, the sun's day. So from now on, I'm going to be doing that in that type of order. And for today, we're starting this off with Monday, the moon day. The feeling today is of Mars trine Uranus, and keep in mind this Uranus direct energy is really going to be flipping things around already. We're already going to be thinking a little bit different, strategizing a bit different, trying to do things a little bit different, but it's about how we feel about what we're doing. With Mars trine Uranus, the energy is one of instinct. It's one of doing, and it's a feeling of urgency. Essentially, Mars is going to communicate a message, a harmonious message to Uranus, and Uranus is going to be able to harmoniously communicate that back to Mars. This will send to us an instinct, which oftentimes, where exactly does instinct end and intuition begin? That's sort of its own philosophical question. But today is definitely all about the feeling of instinct. So if you have an instinct today to try out that new sushi place, to start writing. Maybe you've tried to write a book several times and have given up after the first few chapters. Whether you have an instinct to call your parents, whether you have an instinct to go on a date with someone, regardless of what exactly the instinct is, listen to this instinct and go forth and try that and operate from a place of the feeling of instinct. So, for example, Mars might not only tell you to go and do something, it might say that there's a really important reason for it. And when you get to that place, when you do whatever this thing is, it might not actually feel that important, but it is definitely taking you into the right place where Uranus is the other side of this, will then start to expand your mind. So maybe you go to that new sushi place, for example, and the food's okay, and you don't know why on earth this would be such an important message for Mars to deliver to you. Why on earth would your instinct tell you to go here? But you end up meeting someone there, and you have a good rapport with this person, whether or not it's even romantic, and the two of you are communicating, and they think about things, Uranus, so much differently than you do. Not only do they think of things differently, but they think in such a way that almost causes you to realize that they are thinking in a way that matches the way you used to when you were much younger, or maybe more idealistic. Or perhaps they have so much more maturity and so much more forward thinking that this ends up inspiring you. And the way that Mars and Uranus often love to work together is essentially saying, here is an idea for an invention. Here's an idea for an adventure. Here's an idea for an innovation. Here is a concept that you can go forth and act on. And by doing this, it will in some way operate as a transformation of how it is that you think in the long term. This is something that is very tiny in the immediate term, but has great impact over the ripples that happen in the long term. So, and sometimes even this will be past life connections. This is a much different way than the Plutonian or the Neptunian connection to our past lives, which are much more emotional. They're much more about, sadness or emotions that that transcended time, like love or past romantic connections we had with people. This is much more about not only reigniting some of these thoughts, but also reigniting memories. So past life memory recovery, even if you're someone who's kind of on the fence about past lives themselves, today is a day in which following the feeling of your instinct and going forth and doing that thing will trigger something that will connect you to a special connection to your Uranus long-term memory that branches either back into the early time of this lifetime or even back into previous lifetimes. You might even so much as have actual full-bodied memories that happen by participating with this instinct. So it's kind of interesting, and in fact, what I always tell people to do if ever they're interested in past lives is rather than trying immediately to go back into a past life that we could fathom, like say, having a past life in the 1920s or having a past life in medieval times, try for a moment to sit down in classic meditative pose, to step into a state of clearness, to allow your breathing to regulate, and then try and imagine yourself back in the jungle. And like spend some time there. Like no jungle in particular. It's, South America, Africa, which jungle? But take some time to allow yourself to go back to the jungle. The jungle has this bizarre universal connection to, what it perhaps is our amygdala. Perhaps it's back when our limbic system was first forming. I'm not exactly sure of the mechanics of it, but there's something about the jungle that imagining ourselves back there opens us up to a whole series of past life energies, past life memories, and connections, as well as feelings that almost seem like they're from another person, but it kind of is. It's a previous you. So it's an interesting exploration today. So on this first moon day of this new series, definitely explore this feeling. What do you feel urgency towards? Where do you feel your instincts? How does it make you feel? And what energy of excitement is attempting to not only spark up, but electrify its way to the surface? So I hope that this has helped out, and I will talk to you all tomorrow on Twier's Day.